My name is Li Bo. I'm from Yunnan Province, China, which is southwest China. Um, right now, I'm living or migrating among three cities. Beijing is where my wife is, and Kunming is my home and my parents live, and Bangkok, where I do a part-time job with Stockholm Environment Institute Asia office.
So how did you come across the Indochina Institute Fellowship Program?
Back in 2007, I believe it was media. I came across this news on a website called China Development Brief, and I had a look, and I was kind of busy, so I didn't really register, but had some thought about it because my sort of deep-seated interest about India. My first trip to India was actually in 1995, but I wasn't really seriously considering until almost towards the end of the year. A friend in Beijing phoned me when I was in Kunming saying, "Oh, have you heard about this?" And their program people were in Beijing, and I mentioned your name to her, and then she actually said she heard about me, and he encouraged me to reconsider. I said to him, I looked at that, but I wasn't thinking about I should apply. But he said, you should give her a call. She was looking for you. So that's how I returned a call and then engaged in a very long conversation. And then that convinced me to reconsider. And that's how I applied.
What was it that attracted you that you considered, whether is it about India, was it about the program itself?
I think since last year I'm in this transitional stage. Physically from Kunming or Bangkok to Beijing, it's a large area. Every time when I travel between these three cities, usually it's like one line. I would go from from Beijing, stop over in Kunming for a few days, and then Bangkok, and then come back. I usually stay for a week or two if I have work to do, and then back to Beijing. The transition is both at the personal level. I don't really enjoy Beijing. The city I like the most is Kunming, but my wife is in Beijing. I have to make this change. And also professionally, I feel stronger towards issues like conservation, community-based environment justice issues. And in Beijing, those work are not necessarily the best spot to do. But also, my experience in Yunnan convinced me that a lot of those issues, environment issues, are actually related to trade, related to large-scale decision-making. And in fact, my experience in Yunnan forced me to go to Beijing a couple of times to mobilize support from officials as well as from journalists. So I already had a taste of how important those issues are related. So I was in this transition last year, just trying to think, where should I move next? And then when people called me and then I talked to Jia Jianying, I was convinced that this is a good opportunity to sort of look through another new window to see how I can make that transition.
Was it a professional transition? Because you talk a lot about physically, looking, going beyond Kunming, looking at Bangkok.
Yeah, professional as well. I think, like what I said, the scale of the issues when I'm was in Yunnan, focusing on village-based environment decision making, I came across, I ran into serious conflicts that can't be addressed at the local level or even provincial level. That's how I went to Beijing, mobilizing support. During those times, I was working with a local organization called Center for Biodiversity and Indigenous Knowledge. This organization used to be fairly well known in Southeast Asia. So while I was doing Yunnan-based work, I also get involved in the Mekong issues. And then, you know, physically in Bangkok, I really felt that Bangkok culturally is sandwiched between India and China. In so many ways, you look at the people, you see how issues are unfold. So, you know, that idea of somewhere in the south, that's where India is, that awareness is always there, even though Mekong doesn't flow to India. So I have that regional perspective and Yunnan perspective. And when I was faced with this decision of whether to move to Beijing to join my wife, I was considering how can I move professionally to other issues or larger scale issues. And this Indian fellowship came very timely, I guess, to wake up my interest about India, and also to see how the Mekong area, the Eastern Himalaya area, come into play in this larger geopolitical area. Pigeon.
Pigeons in the chimney.
Am I fantasizing? What is this in my ear?
What are we gonna do? Is it really loud? Pigeons in the chimney. We should start a fire.
No, you just...
And then we will get dinner.
Okay, so we're going back from, you know, so you're looking even beyond Thailand, you know, the Mekong, and then looking at more regional issues. Right?
Should I continue?
No, yes, please continue. Just reminding what we're reading.
Okay. Yunnan is a very unique place for someone to look beyond boundaries. Yunnan used to be a very peripheral province in China, but then as China opens up its border and look beyond boundaries to different directions, there is Southeast Asia, and Yunnan became the gateway to Southeast Asia. And Yunnan also borders with Myanmar, and on the other side of the Myanmar, that's where India is. And also Yunnan happens to be a province which is much less sensitive in terms of border issues with Southeast Asia, and if you look beyond India. In fact, there is this Kunming initiative established between India, China, having a few other countries involved. There is a ASEAN Plus, China ASEAN Plus 3 or whatever those terms. They all look into cooperations between Southeast Asian countries and China, but look even beyond that. There are energy issues, natural resource issues, share of market. And also Yunnan happens to be a place where hydrology resources, mineral resources are very rich, and it's in terms of landscape, it's very beautiful. So that's a good resource for tourism development. As investment are invited into this province, sort of the investment climate are improved to attract more investment, people start to realize environment issues are very political because how to share those resources in terms of financial gains. Investment got a lot of it, but oftentimes what happened is local communities who actually suffered from those resource development don't get much, and also they live with a lot of negative environment impact. And the decisions made towards which project to start
Just
Well, let's
start that sentence over.
You can either see. You can let's finish the sentence.
Okay.
The thought, and I wanted to ask you about the fellowship itself, or
Okay.
aspiration.
Okay.
Fellowship. Yeah.
Okay. I'll finish that.
About investments in the resources.
What my thoughts are. Okay. Those decisions made towards which resource development project to approve or to support are usually coming from central government, or decisions made without participation of local people are a big issue. And if you look beyond Yunnan, you see how politics are played at the national level. And if you look southwest China and India, northeastern India, you see a big area where a lot of people live on both sides of the mountains, and where this is also a very important source of water, and lots of glacier in this area. And with the global climate change, you see an international level debate about what responsibility China and India should play. So I really see there is, this is a big landscape of political ecology. And that's how I see professionally I can start to look at, and the Indian Fellowship provides that platform for me to rethink those issues.
We can stop.
Okay.
Is there more that you wanted to say about the aspirations? I mean, that actually ends up really nicely.
Okay.
Is it? You're cohort 1, no?
Go to.
Oh, you're cohort. Sorry.
No, I think that ended very nicely. Is there
Yeah.
more you wanted to say?
Anything you want to add?
Yeah.
No, I'm fine.
Well, this sounds really good. It's looking at it